Hello and welcome to the November 11th edition of the Bobby Hesley Show. Thought I would come back for a little bit. I don't know how regular I'm going to be doing these, but I've been feeling the bug lately with everything that's been going on. So let me just get right to it. Well, actually, like and subscribe. Make sure you hit my YouTube channel. Be sure to share this. Yeah, man, we got to get rid of Trump, guys. I am done with Donald Trump. If anybody has a right to criticize and disown Donald Trump, it's me. I worked so hard for that guy, all for free, all volunteer. A lot of other people did too. But you guys saw how hard I went for Trump back in 2020. My whole channel is built on how hard I went for Trump. Seeing a weird flicker here. Okay, that's good now. I'm not happy with Trump, guys, and you shouldn't be either. You guys should not be either. Okay. Here's why Donald Trump was so popular, and here's why he had so much of my support and so much of everybody else's support when he first became elected president back in 2020 when he beat Hillary, is because he was all about America first, right? That was everything that he ran on, is America first. You have to put America before everything else. You have to put America before your foreign policy. That's kind of what he meant, is that domestic policy trumped foreign policy. You have to put us first. Don't get us in a bunch of wars, et cetera, et cetera. But I also believe that America first comes to politics as well, local and national politics. And the fact is, guys, the way Trump has been behaving over this past week proves, in my opinion, that America first kind of was a gimmick, because he is not putting America first right now with how he's been behaving. The way Donald Trump has been attacking Ron DeSantis is going to severely split and divide the Republican Party, which is the last thing that we need right now. He's being very polarizing, very petty, very narcissistic, very power hungry, and he is not putting America first with how he's been behaving. Here's the bottom line, guys. Ron DeSantis is the best politician in the country right now. He is running an incredible state down there in Florida. We didn't have a red wave throughout the country, but he had a 1,000-foot tall tsunami down in Florida. He had a red tsunami. And I understand that, School of Hard Knocks, Mandy. But the fact is, Trump needs to forget what he did too. He needs to remember what he did too. As good as Donald Trump was for the 4 years that he was in office, for everything he did for the country, that doesn't give him the right to behave the way he's been behaving lately. Seriously. He's undermining everything he did, if we're being honest. The fact is, Ron DeSantis had a red tsunami down in Florida because he did everything right. And I covered this in my video a couple days ago. He refused to lock down. He refused vax mandates. He refused mask mandates. He has election integrity police forces. Everything that Donald Trump should have done, Ron DeSantis did down in Florida on a micro level. And the fact is, Ron DeSantis has not even announced whether or not he's running in 2024. I think he should, because right now he's the hottest politician. Right now is his moment. And think about it. If he sees through his 4-year term that he just won this past week, a couple of days ago, he's not going to be able to run again until 2026, but the presidency won't be until 2028. So he can't wait another 4 years. I'm not giving them exactly what they want. Just keep watching, Helena. Just keep watching. Trump is actually giving the Democrats exactly what they want, not me. I'm not the one being divisive and attacking the most popular Republican governor right now, Ron DeSantis. So you should actually be saying that to Trump, Helena, not to me. But I will get to that. It's time for Donald Trump to be a man of his word and put America first by stepping down and bowing out of the political scene. He's become too toxic. He's become too divisive. And let's just face it, folks, Donald Trump is proving to be pretty petty. A lot of the flaws that we've overlooked with Donald Trump for the last 6 years since he started running in 2016, maybe 2015, maybe the last 7 years, we overlooked. Listen, we all knew Trump was petty. He's a New Yorker, guys. New Yorkers are very petty. They have very sensitive egos. The slightest criticism, they're incapable of picking their battles. Every little thing is a war to them. Every little molehill is a mountain to them. We knew that about Trump. We did know that about Trump. But the fact is, Donald Trump's flaws are starting to hurt the party now. They didn't hurt the party back in 2016 because he was such a better alternative to Hillary, and he was a great president. He really was. Don't get me wrong. He was a great president, but he needs to hang it up. He can't be talking about the 2020 elections in 2024. We need to move on from what happened in 2020. I know it's hard to say that, but the fact is, all these quote unquote election denier candidates, they all lost. That's a toxic bandwagon to jump on. By the way, is anybody else freezing up? Let me come out and come back in. Hold on, guys. Okay, hopefully that fixed it. Let me know if you guys can see me okay, if you're freezing up or not. But anyway, let me keep going. If Donald Trump decides to run again in 2024, it won't be the first time I voted against him in the primaries. I did not originally vote for Donald Trump in the 2016 primaries. My guy was Ted Cruz back then. I voted against Trump in the 2016 primaries, and I voted for Ted Cruz. And I will vote against Trump again if he runs again in 2024. Because the era of Trump is over. We need to move on from this guy. Let me show you why I'm so upset with Donald Trump and why many others are upset with Trump. I'm not the only one who feels the way I feel. Just give me a second to cue up this pathetic video of Donald Trump. It's completely unnecessary and it's completely uncalled for. And I'm calling him out about it. He's not so perfect to where he can't be called out. He needs to be called out, and I'm going to do it. As many others are doing it. Guys, stay tuned. I'm not the only one who feels this way about Trump. So I want you to think about how popular and how awesome of a job Ron DeSantis is doing. Now, this was like before the election happened. Listen to what Donald Trump had to say about Ron DeSantis.
Trump at 71, Ron DeSanctimonious at 10%, Mike Pence at 7. Oh, Mike's doing better than I thought. Trump at 71, Ron DeSanctimonious at 10%.
Grow up, man. Ron DeSanctimonious? Come on, man. Grow up, Trump. It's time for you to grow up, dude. Ron DeSantis has said or done nothing to you for you to call him Ron DeSanctimonious like that. The only thing that he's done is be a better politician than you. And you're going to call him Ron DeSanctimonious? He hasn't even announced his run yet. But the fact is, Trump feels threatened by Ron DeSantis, and rightfully so, because if you guys think about it, Ron DeSantis, and I went into this in my other video, Ron DeSantis actually is a much better governor. He governed much better than Trump did. Just compare the two. He governed much better than Trump did. Trump governed like a liberal towards the end of his presidency. He really did. Ron DeSantis did everything opposite to that. And I don't know what is going on with Donald Trump right now. I want to read to you guys some of his tweets. He's just tweeting some really weird stuff right now. Let me give you the first example. So let me reshare my screen here. Look at this, guys. You tell me if Trump is somebody that's worth getting behind with what he's saying right now. Now that the midterms are over and a success, News Corp, which is Fox, the Wall Street Journal, are no longer Great New York Post, Bring Back Coal, is all in for Governor Ron DeSanctimonious. Grow up, man. Grow up, dude. What has Ron said or done to you to deserve this? An average Republican governor with great public relations who didn't have to close up his state. No, he refused to, but did, unlike other Republican governors who overall numbers for a Republican were just average, middle of the pack during COVID, and who has the advantage of sunshine, where people from badly run states up north would go like no matter who the governor was, just like I did. Ron came to me in desperate shape in 2017. He was politically dead, losing in a landslide to a very good agricultural commission, Adam Putnam, who was loaded up with cash and great poll numbers. Ron had low approval, bad polls, and no money, but he said that if he would endorse him, he could win. I didn't know Adam, so I said, let's give it a shot, Ron, when I endorsed him. So why is he being so petty and going at Ron DeSantis like this? He should not be doing this. Listen to this. It gets even. You guys remember Glenn Youngkin, who won with Winsome Sears down in, what was it, Virginia? Tell me how smart this sounds. This guy's like a bull in a china shop. And we've always known this about Trump, but I feel like this is the first time like it really matters because he's doing some actual collateral damage to the Republican Party and to the country. This is not the time to be divisive like this. Not the time at all. After the shellacking that we just took, he said, Young Kin. Now, that's an interesting take. Sounds Chinese, doesn't it? Listen to that. Guys, is that a good look? Is that really a good look to be talking like that? Think about that, guys. Interesting take. That sounds Chinese, doesn't it? Saying that Glenn Youngkin's name sounds Chinese? That's a great point, Regina. He's afraid Ron will run and beat him. I will choose DeSantis over Trump easy. The Dems never leave Trump alone. We don't need any more of that. Well, don't get it twisted, Regina. They're going to go after Ron, too. They've already been going after Ron, so get ready for that. Virginia couldn't have won without me. I endorsed him. Did a very big Trump rally for him telephonically. Got MAGA to vote for him. I could go on and on with his crazy tweets, guys, but, you know, the fact is Donald Trump has really proven to be very petty right now, and I don't like it. I don't support him. You shouldn't either. Let's keep going. I feel like Don needs to give up. It's time for him to hand the reins over. Think about this, guys. If Trump decides to run in 2024, he's going to be 80 years old. 80 years old. That's kind of old. That's kind of up there to be running for president. We're already critical of how old Biden was when he got elected. He's what, 78, 79, 80 now? We're saying, oh, somebody so old shouldn't be president. Well, why aren't we applying that to Trump? I agree. I think he's on the same road as Biden as well. Wayne Bradley, just an insecure man, jealous of the attention and good press. He's going after the governors who didn't kiss his ring. Great point. And the thing is, none of these governors have done anything against Donald Trump. They haven't said anything about him, and yet he's going at him. Guys, let me add some humor to the situation. Here's kind of how I feel like Donald Trump is acting right now. The era of Trump has passed. It's time for him to pass the baton on to someone else who can take the country the rest of the way. And here's kind of how I feel like Donald Trump is acting right now. Check out this video. Be honest, guys. That's how Trump's acting right now. He's acting like a petulant little child that is not willing to put America first. If Trump truly wanted to put America first, he would step down and he would let Ron DeSantis take over. And, you know, I was thinking about that, Wayne, but here's kind of why I disagree with that. I don't think Trump was a good kingmaker because everybody he endorsed loses. All those Trump-backed candidates in these midterms, they lost, man. And the other day when I did a video, I compared him to Barack Obama. You know, Barack Obama was such an unpopular endorser. Like whoever he endorsed during his 2 terms of president, they lost big time. And we just saw that with Trump. It's too toxic. But the fact for him to call Ron DeSantis sanctimonious, to me, that's just, I don't know, man. If anything, it's kind of hypocritical. Because you guys know what the definition of sanctimonious is. I'll read it real quick. It says making a show of being morally superior to other people. Isn't that what Trump's doing right now? Isn't that what he's doing? Isn't he acting like he's morally superior to everybody else, including Ron DeSantis? Which I believe he's not. But let's keep going, guys. Listen, I'm not the only one who feels this way. I'm really not. Here's another reason why I feel like Trump is a toxic candidate. Here's another reason why I don't think Trump will win in 2024. I don't think Trump's even going to make it through the primaries, to be honest with you. I think he will be defeated in the primaries if he tries to run. I'm going to make another parallel to Donald Trump. When it comes to endorsing candidates, I liken him to Barack Obama, okay? because if you have Obama endorsing you, you're going to lose. That's what happened with Trump endorsed candidates, I hate to say. I'm going to draw another parallel to Mitt Romney. When it comes to principles, when it comes to hypocritical principles, I liken Donald Trump to Mitt Romney. Now, how is Trump similar to Mitt Romney? Let me tell you why. Mitt Romney ran against Barack Obama back in 2012. And what was the main thing that Mitt Romney ran against in 2012? If your memory serves you correctly, he ran against Obamacare, right? But it was hard for Mitt Romney to run against Obamacare because Romney was the first governor in the history of America to force Romney Care in Massachusetts. Do you guys remember that? When Mitt Romney was governor of Massachusetts, he imposed a state-forced, state-sanctioned Romney Care. And as a matter of fact, the Democrats even used to say that they used Romney Care as the template, as the schematic for Obamacare. So how could Romney run against Obamacare? How could he be the guy to put up against Barack Obama, the guy who nationalized 1/6 of the U.S. economy, which was the healthcare sector, when he himself was guilty of doing it in Massachusetts? I see a parallel to that with how he handled the beer bug. Why do I call it the beer bug? Corona, right? Corona is a really nice beer. So when the beer bug hit, what did Donald Trump do? He shut the country down. He rushed out an unproven, vax, right? The Fauci ouchie. Think of all the people who got the Fauci ouchie, and it didn't even matter. It didn't immunize them. The CDC admitted. They're even saying that you guys need to forgive us for getting it wrong. People lost their jobs because they didn't get the Fauci ouchie, right? So how can Donald Trump run against the COVID tyranny that we've experienced for the last 2 years when he was the one who started it, when he was the one who started the lockdowns? Remember, Joe Biden did not lock down America. Federal lockdowns was all Trump, man. He rushed out an unproven vax. All those mass mandates happened on his watch. They did. He's very similar when it comes to running against COVID, when it comes to running against everything that the beer bug did to destroy our country when it hit in early 2020. He is just as ineffective and just as hypocritical running against that in 2024 as Mitt Romney was ineffective running against Obamacare in 2012 because of his past of Romney Care. He's not qualified to run against it. He's not. And it's interesting because I'm not the only one who feels like this. Do you guys know that lots of prominent conservatives are coming out against Donald Trump, and rightly so? They can no longer hold their tongue. I'm going to roll a clip real quick. One of Trump's biggest supporters, matter of fact, she's made millions of dollars, amassed millions of followers off the Trump name, Candace Owens. I've got, mixed opinions about her, love her or hate her. She is who she is. But listen to what Candace Owens has to say about Trump. She said this on her podcast a couple days ago. I'm just going to roll it.
Just horrified. So there it is. I gave my honest assessment there, and that was my attempt to defend him against people that believe that he had sold out. And I stand by that assessment. I believe that because Trump is 70 years old, he does not get his information from Reddit. He is not getting his information from sources that are not mainstreamed. And I know for a fact that there are people on his team that bring him the news headlines in the morning, which is totally normal. That's what happens when you're president. They try to highlight. There's a lot of news sources, and he goes through that and he accepts that.
So what Candace is talking about is, if you guys remember, last year she interviewed Donald Trump. She grilled him really hard on the vaccines, and she played all that. I don't want to run the clip too long. She played how she grilled Trump and, how she basically brought up all the concerns that his voter base had about him rushing out the vaccines. Okay.
As the narratives. That's why you would see so many tweets of him hitting back at the New York Times, the Washington Post. He's actually getting these headlines so that he can respond to these headlines live. Nothing wrong with that, except there was something wrong with it, apparently. Trump actually got upset with me because, and here's the great irony, the richest irony, the Daily Beast ran a headline regarding that live Instagram that you just heard from me. And the headline was, Candace Owens says Trump is pro-vax because he's too old to understand the internet.
Okay, so in other words, the Daily Beast ran that headline Donald Trump's, whoever he surrounds himself with, told her that, hey, Candace is bashing you online. Now, what most people would do, especially if they're a friend of yours or even associate, you would reach out to them first, right? If you hear a bad report about somebody, you don't just believe it secondhand or third hand. You reach out directly to that person to get clarity. Let's see if Trump handled it that way.
I never once called Trump too old. I never once said that Trump could not understand the internet. And yet somehow he got that information and believed it to be true. He thought that I said that he was too old and that he couldn't understand the internet and did not quite get the information that actually what I was saying was a defense of him so that his supporters would still believe in him. Not only was he just mad, by the way, he then, during a golf session with some mutual friends of ours, had a person next to him who was egging this on, saying to Trump, and I know this because, again, this is a mutual friend, aren't you mad at Candace? Aren't you mad at Candace? Aren't you mad at Candace? And eventually he was like, yeah, I'm so mad at Candace. I'm so mad at Candace. And this got back to me that he was upset with me, that he was angry at me. And the next time that I saw him, he was quite rude to me. He was actually rude to me. I'm telling you this personal story because I think it is something that made me for the first time question him as a person. So you have an individual that spent years defending you, right? And that individual gave you a completely kind and fair interview. You said something yourself that your base didn't like, and you somehow transformed that into something that I did wrong. That's unacceptable. That is not being a leader. That is not owning things that you did wrong. That is not owning that you misunderstood something about your base. That's not growing. That's not developing. In fact, he should have tried to understand why the base was so upset with him, which would have led into the fact that his...
And guys, it's funny because I'm losing followers. I don't care. You know, John, you no longer support me. That's fine. You don't pay my bills anyway. You've never really supported me, if we're being honest. But, you know, who's the fickle one, John? Trump's the one that's fickle. Am I dividing the Republican Party right now? Am I the one going around calling him Ron DeSantis and all this crap that Trump is saying? Am I the one doing that? Man, I'm telling you, I loved MAGA back in the day, but there's aspects to MAGA that are kind of cultish, man. Trump ain't perfect, man. It's okay to criticize Donald Trump, you know. He's not God. He's not Jesus. It's okay to think critically about the guy. You should try it sometime.
Base is not pro-COVID vaccine. It's that simple. I understood that. I could have told him that. But at that moment, I realized that he's not listening. Who is this guy next to him?
Yeah, somebody's holding me hostage. I got somebody in my home office right now. I got somebody in my home office. They got a gun to my head telling me to make this video. You know, I'm not okay, Nancy. I'm not okay. Get me help, please. I didn't say I was perfect, John. I really didn't. Did I ever say I was perfect? Far from it.
Trying to egg him on to be angry at me for trying to.
I want to ask you this. I actually enjoy these comments. People say, oh, you should ignore trolls. I enjoy people that disagree with me. I want you to ask that same question to Donald Trump, Jono. How can you turn on someone like that? You're a dog. How can Trump turn on DeSantis? Why don't you ask him that? Trump is turning on his own party. He is proving that his whole America First thing was a corporate gimmick because he ain't putting America first right now with how he's been acting. He's really not.
To defend him, say that he's not a shill, to say, no, actually, I think that he genuinely does support the vaccines. He did genuinely support the vaccines. So all of this going on made me, again.
He did support the vaccines. So for all you guys that are currently unfollowing me right now, who never paid my bills in the first place, right? Did you support the vaccines? Huh? Did you get the Fauci ouchie that Trump rushed out? Since you're so supportive of Donald Trump, did you line up to get stabbed with the Fauci juice while wearing your mask? Did you? If Trump is so sacrosanct and if everything he does turns to gold, show me the scars. Show me your Fauci ouchie scars. Let me see them, huh? Oh, maybe you didn't want to drop dead of a heart attack at age 21 when you're perfectly healthy, huh? Yeah. Okay.
Question him if he was becoming too angry, which is to say that when Trump went into the election in 2016, he was having fun, right? He was naming people, giving them fun names, enjoying the base, having a good time. I would even say in 2020, you could feel the energy. It was electric. I think after the 2020 election, and because of the shock of all the things that happened and the answers that we never really feel that we got, this like sinking realization that we might be actually losing our country, I think that it pushed him into an angry space where he doesn't trust anybody, where he doesn't listen to anybody, where I'm
going to leave that up. Guys, I don't do this for the, I don't do this for the popularity. I don't care that I'm a disappointment. Don't you think Trump is? Be honest, John. Come on, man. Let's talk man to man. Do you really approve of Donald Trump's behavior? Do you really approve? We have the only governor, well, not the only one, but one of the only people who actually experienced a legitimate red wave on Tuesday because he did everything right. He kept the state open. He pushed back against the vaccine and the mask mandates. He stood up to Disney with the Don't Say Gay bill. He has election police force integrity. He handled the hurricane awesome. He said that Florida is the place where woke goes to die. He's not allowing Floridian kids to be sexualized in the schools. He's doing everything right. Everything right, John. He is doing everything right. And yet Trump is attacking him, calling him Ron DeSanctimonious and feeling threatened and petty about him. Do you really approve of that, John? Come on now. You got to be disappointed with that. You can't love Trump so much to where you look past something like that. Come on now. And if you do, you might want to question whether or not you have, you approve. Okay, well, hey, you're free to approve of his behavior. You really are. We live in America. I don't agree.
He's almost likely to believe that everybody's trying to. I've realized that no, these discussions that everybody has had with it as you will, and know in your heart that you at least believe to be ignoring the question that I've had with Trump. Is he going to get over the trauma of the bring back, right? And I think that say I was too old. I read the headline on the Daily Beast. Believes that his friends, now me, listening to maybe
now she's getting into how she personally feels about what Trump said about it. I guess they're kind of falling
paranoia potentially that's setting in, that he believes that his friends, now me, oh my God, how could you say I was too old? I read the headline on the Daily Beast. That's what she said. I didn't say that, right? If you thought I said that, you should have been a decent human being. You should have picked up the phone and you should have called me, right? Because that's what I would have done. I would have reached out to you to clarify things. That's what it means to be a person. That's what it means to be a friend. That's what it means to be a colleague, not even a friend. What it means to be a colleague is to actually have relationships with people, to honor the relationships that you have with people that don't take place in the public sphere. We didn't do any of those things. And I think that the MAGA movement is reflecting Trump.
So in other words, you guys can watch the rest of the video if you get some time. But I'm not the only conservative who feels this way. There's a great piece on the American Thinker, which I'll link to on my YouTube channel. And here's what the guy said. He said, DeSantis is not a never Trumper. He is heir to the MAGA movement, evolved and retooled to meet the needs of the moment. With DeSantis, we got Trumpian policy achievements without the Trumpian baggage train. Think about that. I think DeSantis can be just as good as, if not better, president than Donald Trump. And if you have any doubt, look at the way he's governed in Florida. I mean, he's proven himself. He's got the template. He's got the blueprint. It goes on to say DeSantis' handling of COVID lockdowns, federal overreach, parental rights, hurricane disasters, and the Florida economy shows that he can govern effectively and deliver tangible results. His PR victory over Disney and his public expose of the Martha Vineyard hypocrites shows he can mop the floor with the left in the culture wars. I mean, DeSantis, he was behind sending all those migrants to Martha's Vineyard. That was he got their attention. He really did. He really did. And I don't think I'm going to be honest with you, Nancy. I don't think Ron DeSantis should run in the shadow of Donald Trump or anybody. I think people should be running in his shadow. I think Ron DeSantis deserves to run as president. He doesn't deserve to play second fiddle to somebody else after everything he's accomplished. He has earned the right to not run in the shadows of other Republicans. He really has. So I do disagree with that. I really do disagree with that. Yeah, and that's funny, Julie. They're not offering concrete reasons why they disagree with me. They're really not. And like I said, I prefer to pay attention And I love the love. Don't get me wrong. I love it when you guys compliment me and all that. But I prefer to pay attention to comments that disagree with me, because I love to debate. So, no, I acknowledge that, John. She did come to the limelight because of Trump, but she wasn't happy with how he believed an evil report about her without first calling to verify it. And I guess they had a falling out. And that's pretty big. Okay, so John, you're making these bald-faced comments, and I'm giving you airplay because I truly like to disagree with people. I like debate, okay? So what I need you to do, John, is I need you to type some concrete reasons why DeSantis does not deserve to run in 2024. I want you to kind of use the intellect that God gave you, use the critical thinking faculties that God gave you, and give us a list of reasons why Ron DeSantis does not deserve to run in 2024. All right, chill out with all the bald-faced statements, all the generic statements you're making without any power behind them. Why should Ron DeSantis not run in 2024? You got the floor. Tell us why. I'm waiting. We're waiting for you. Why should he not run, John? Come on now. Come on. Let's see your reasons. Let's keep reading more comments until John decides to defend his opinion, because, an opinion worth having is an opinion worth defending. So I want to see you defend your opinion, John. Why does Ron DeSantis, you said that he does not deserve to run in 2024. Why does Ron DeSantis not deserve to run in 2024? What has he done or not done that makes him an unworthy candidate for president 2024? We're all waiting for you. We're all waiting for your reasons. Let's hear them. Meantime, let's see what else you guys have to say. Yeah, I agree. They put Trump on a pedestal. Still waiting. Absolutely, Jackson. DeSantis is the better pick. He really is. He really, truly is the better pick. Now, let me echo something else that I said a few days ago. While we're waiting for John to defend his opinion, while we're waiting for John to give us a list of reasons why DeSantis does not deserve to run in 2024. Okay. Let's see why, I want to take you guys back to 2021, to January 6th of 2021. Okay. And I said this the other day in my video, but I think it bears repeating again. So I'm going to say it again. I kind of started to lose my support for Donald Trump when I saw the way he handled January 6th. Here's the bottom line, guys. There are people that are still rotting in a DC prison going on 3 years now, mind you. I know it's crazy to think about, but we're coming up on over 2 years at least of people that are still rotting in a DC jail from January 6th. Guys, do you realize that there are people that were not even inside the Capitol building on January 6th? They were within the vicinity of it, and their cell phones were triangulated by the FBI or whoever, and they were put in jail. And these people came to Washington, D.C. at the request of Donald Trump, mind you, 3 different times leading up to the 2020 elections. He requested that everybody come down and fight like hell and come to D.C. and stand with him, right? 3 different times they did that during lockdowns, during stimmy checks, during extreme financial difficulty for a lot of these people. They set that aside and they came to D.C. to support their president. And unfortunately, some of them were in the wrong place at the wrong time. They got arrested. They were labeled as insurrectionists. Their lives and reputations were destroyed. They're still sitting in jail. Did Donald Trump help a single one of those people that were there for him? Did he mention any of them by name? He still had 3 weeks to pardon these people. Did he pardon a single one of these quote unquote insurrectionists? Did Donald Trump pardon a single person that was unjustly put in jail for him? No. Who does he pardon instead on his way out? Kwame Kilpatrick, the corrupt mayor of Detroit that was in prison for like 50 years for killing a stripper named Strawberry or being behind it at least. Guys, that's cold, man. All these people that went to D.C. for him, and he didn't even have the decency to pardon them on his way out.
Even to a guy like me, that's cold.
That's cold, guys. Joker said it best. All these people go to jail for you. You don't pardon them. You don't even mention them by name. Why? Because of the bad optics of quote unquote pardoning insurrectionists. Donald Trump knew that he was going to run again in 2024, and he did not want to give the left and the Democrats and the media sound bites to use against him for the next 4 years of him pardoning insurrectionists. So rather than doing the right thing and getting these people out of jail that shouldn't have been there in the first place, he lets them rot in there. 2 of them have taken their own lives. They have self-deleted because the leader that they thought they were there for abandoned them. He let them rot in jail.
Even to a guy like me, that's cold.
It's cold, man. That was the crack in Trump's armor. You're right, Regina. He never stood up for them. Okay. Okay, John, he finally decided to way back. Trump is the only person that can take on the deep state. DeSantis has not really come under fire by the corrupt media. John, are you kidding me? Now, John, we're disagreeing here like men, okay? We're having a discussion here. Do you seriously think that Ron DeSantis has not come under fire by the corrupt media? Have you not been paying attention since 2018 when he first got elected? They've been coming for DeSantis for the last 4 years. What are you talking about? Trump is the only person that can take on the deep state. Did you see what happened in 2020? Have you seen what's happened in the last few years? The deep state has been killing Trump. He ain't had the power to do nothing. He didn't take on the deep state. They took him on and they got him out. They really did. Hold on, I got a call coming in. I got to reject. Life working from home. No, John, listen, man, you're wrong on both counts. I appreciate your dialogue. I appreciate you willing to share your opinion, but you're wrong. I mean, he did the best he could to take on the deep state, but he was only one man. I think Trump's biggest mistake was he surrounded himself with people that he just shouldn't have been listening to. That's the issue. He had a lot of people that he surrounded himself with that were just bad for him. But those are my thoughts, guys. My support for Trump, there was kind of a chink in the armor when I saw how he abandoned those people in jail. Let me ask you, I want to ask you a question, John. I'm keeping your comment up here for a reason, and I appreciate your participation. If you were in the Capitol on January 6th and you were wrongfully imprisoned, you were not an insurrectionist, you were just kind of, the cops waved you in, the Capitol Police waved you in, oh, come on in, guys, just like they did. You took some selfies next to some George Washington photos, and you were put in jail, and you've been sitting there for the last 2.5 years, and you were there for Donald Trump, and he never mentioned your name. He never pardoned you on the way out. How would you feel about Donald Trump? I want you to honestly weigh in. Tell us how you would feel. Would you still support Donald Trump if he let you rot in jail the way he let these DC protesters rot in jail? Now, remember, the Democrats take care of their own better than Trump took care of his own. I said this the other day in my video. Think back to all those 2020 rioters that were burning down all these black neighborhoods, all these BLM, all these Antifa thugs. Did they let them stay in jail? Are there any Black Lives Matter or Antifa rioters that are rotting in jail right now? No, they bailed them out. They did GoFundMes. Kamala Harris bailed them out. Hollywood celebrities bailed them out. They persuaded prosecutors to not prosecute these people, to let them go scot-free. They took care of their own. When the left had their insurrectionists that were burning the country down, they left them in jail, or they did not let them sit in jail. They treated their people, their useful idiots, they treated their people better than Trump treated his people. And in true fashion of people who lose the argument, John says, I can see that you're part of the establishment. So in other words, he's personally attacking me, right? Because that's what people do when they're out of arguments. They resort to ad hominem. We went to DC on January 6th, not for Trump, but for the survival of our democracy. Okay. So again, I really want you to answer my question, John. If you went to DC on January 6th and you were still locked up, or some of your friends and family members were still locked up and they went to jail for Trump, right? And Trump didn't pardon them or even mention them by name, would you still feel this way about Trump? I don't think you would. And I think you wouldn't. And that's part of why I stopped supporting him in 2020. I never quite got over that. He tells all these people to come down here. They get arrested. And what does he do? He gets on Twitter and tells them to go home. That just wasn't leadership. It really wasn't. So having said all that, guys, that's why I no longer support Donald Trump. I think Ron DeSantis is the guy that we need to get behind. I think the era of Trump is over. And I don't think Trump is going to win the 2024 elections talking about the 2020 elections. We got to move on from that, and we got to become better and make sure that doesn't happen again. But if you keep dwelling on the past, look at what happened in these midterms, all these people that they labeled election deniers, and I supported them. I loved what they had to say. I agree with everything they had to say. But they lost. They lost, guys. They were endorsed by Trump, and they lost. And we just got to do better next time. So I want to thank everybody for watching. As always, it's good to be with you guys. And I will see you on the next podcast. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you soon.